Appreciate everybody being here this morning. I'm joined with the Prime Minister, the Minister for Police, the Commissioner for New South Wales Ambulance, and of course Mal Lanyon, the New South Wales Police Commissioner. It's very sad duty this morning to report that 16 people have been confirmed as being killed, 15 innocent people and one perpetrator. There are 42 people in New South Wales hospitals overnight, and the victims' age ranges are from as young as 10 to 87.
Well, thanks very much, Premier. What we saw yesterday was an act of pure evil, an act of anti-Semitism, an act of terrorism on our shores in an iconic Australian location, Bondi Beach, that is associated with joy, associated with families gathering, associated with celebrations, and it is forever tarnished by what has occurred last evening. This was an attack deliberately targeted at the Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah, which of course should be a joyous celebration, and the Jewish community are hurting today. Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge, and we will eradicate it together. We will dedicate every single resource that is required in responding to this.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Last night I announced that I had determined that it was a terrorist activity and made a declaration as such as 9:36 p.m. As a result of that declaration, we commenced Operation ARQUS, ARQUES, which is a joint counter-terrorism operation. That is New South Wales Police working very closely with our Commonwealth partners to ensure that we thoroughly investigate the circumstances of the incident yesterday. We have progressed at pace overnight with that investigation, and as a result of investigations undertaken, I can say that we are not looking for a further offender. We are satisfied that there were 2 offenders involved in yesterday's incident. One is deceased. The second is in critical but stable condition in hospital at the moment. The offenders are a 50-year-old and 24-year-old male who are father and son.
Do you see this as a failure that this man and his son were not picked up by authorities and able
to... It's just grief, utter grief. Anger will set in, but at the moment it's more disbelief than anything. And on the one hand, I think everyone knew this was going to happen sooner or later with the trajectory that we were on as a society. But for it to actually happen here at our Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach, which every year is just the most beautiful family event with kids running around, and you know, it's a celebration. And to think that people were there with heavy weapons, picking off children and the elderly, and just getting all the facts this morning and hearing about more dead and people dying overnight in the hospital and the ages of the deceased. You know, a man who I knew very well in his 90s is dead, a survivor of the Holocaust. The rabbi, who's a dear, dear friend of mine and was really a pillar of our community, did so much for everybody. He's among the dead. It's just impossible to rationalize and comprehend that this has happened. Oh, look, I mean, this is obviously the heart of the community. This is, you know, the core of Jewish life in this city, but it's also a Hanukkah event, you know. It's not a random attack that happens to ensnare the Jewish community. People came to kill Jewish children and women and the elderly, and they knew that here they would have, in a relatively small area, hundreds and hundreds of people, like fish in a barrel. And that's what they wanted. They wanted to kill as many Jewish people as possible simply because they were Jewish, for the crime of being Jewish. Look, I remember speaking to the media outside my former home on January 17th after the firebombing attack there. And I said at the time that this will end in someone getting killed. And at that time, things were escalating from, aggressive protests and vandalism to fire bombings. And we knew at that point in time, when there were people in our country prepared to light fires on busy residential streets, this wouldn't stop. But at the same time, who could have thought that we would take that enormous leap from firebombing, which is serious enough, to actual murder, massacre of this sort, body bags on Bondi Beach at a Hanukkah event?